rainy day here in Northern California, so what better way to spend the evening than to go over to my local casino, Wind River, and play some cash games. The cash games are really, really good on a Friday night. They usually get a 5-10 game off, so I'm hoping that gets off tonight because I really want to play that. If not, I'll just hop into the 2-5 game, which there's a ton of straddles and basically plays like a 5-10, 5-10-20. So let's get in the car and go. Okay, before we head on down, make sure to hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check out the link in the description box below for my poker training course. I have a poker training course called the Poker Accelerator, and it will transform your game. So let's get in the car and head to the casino because I'm itching to play. All right, I'm all smiles heading over to the 3-5 game. We sit down with $600 and look down at 10-8 of hearts on the button. The hijack and the cutoff limp. I limp behind on the button here. And small blind completes and the big blind checks. So we are 5 ways to the flop. The flop is king of hearts, 5 of spades, 8 of clubs, and it checks over to me. Now I decide to put in a small bet here. In a limped pot, I'm not too worried about them having too many strong king X combos. The small blind and big blind fold, but the hijack and the cutoff call. The 4 of spades on the turn, it checks over to me, and I decide to check back here. Definitely don't want to be betting again. Jack of hearts on the river, not the best card. Checks over to me, and I check back, and I lose to ace-8 offsuit. The cutoff wound up having 5 deuce of clubs, but we lose to the ace-8 with the better kicker. So here we have ace-9 offsuit under the gun 1. I decide to raise it up here. The game was on the tighter side to begin with, but that's how it just started out, and trust me, the action picks up a lot. The hijack and the cutoff call. Queen 9 4 2 diamonds checks over to me. I decide to check back here. I certainly could c-bet here with the ace of diamonds, but I decided to just check back because it's not the best board and I do have middle pair here. The hijack bets 35. I'm definitely not going anywhere. I make the call. Deuce of hearts on the turn. I check and the hijack checks back. 10 of diamonds on the river. I decide to check here. I think we have enough showdown value. Hijack checks back. We table our hand. And he has ace-7 offsuit for a stone cold bluff. Ace-7 off. I failed to mention here that the other player in the hand was hashtag more Bob. What are you doing playing ace-7 offsuit, Bobby boy? I've taught you better than that.
To punish you, I'm sleeping on the couch.
He clearly hasn't looked over my poker training course. But guys, don't forget to check out the description box below or visit LexyGavin-Mather.com to check out my free poker training. So normally I would fold the ace-9 off there in middle position, but the game has been pretty tight. And that was the best hand I've seen in a while, so.
And you were playing against me.
And I was playing against Bobby Boy.
Yeah.
We're going for a little walk, taking a little break. What is happening here?
We are going to a party!
I have no idea what's happening. So there's a little concert next to the poker room. What? Oh, that's Bobby Boy in his element. Shake it! All right, here we look down at pocket tens here. We are in the hijack position, under the gun 1 and 2 limp. I raise it up to $40 here. The button calls, and we are heads up. The flop is 6-4 jack rainbow. I decide to c-bet here. I think there's a lot of hands that I can get value from. If this was like ace jack 4 or ace jack 6, I'd probably check back. And the button jams all in for $140. I end up making the call. It's only 28 big blinds more, and I think he could be shoving worse hands here. If this was a tighter player, I'd probably be more inclined to fold, but he was pretty loose, so I think it's okay to call here.
Actually, a lot of white Spanish men.
There's a lot going on tonight.
Yeah, they from some part of the island. This Mexican girl.
But he had a set of sixes, so he lost that one. King queen off here in the hijack, under the gun 1 and 2 limp. I decide to raise it up to $25 here. The button calls, the small blind calls, I am 3-way to the flop with the button and the small blind. The 2 limpers fold. And we flop top pair, second nut kicker here on the queen 10, 7, 2 diamonds. Small blind donk leads $20 here. I decided to raise it up here to $75. It's a draw heavy board texture. She didn't have a full stack, and I thought that she'd be willing to shove her diamonds and maybe some king jack, jack 9 type combos, and worse queens. But the button ends up cold calling, and the small blind ends up calling as well. And she only has like $200 behind in this point. The turn is the 3 of spades. Pretty good card here for us that didn't complete any of the draws, which we're definitely happy about. The small blind checks. I definitely think we should be betting here for value, so I'm just trying to decide what sizing. I jam all in for $335. I think that's the best play here. We could still get called by some worse queens and some draws. The button thinks for a little bit, and she ends up making the call and has 10-7 for 2 pairs, so we're drawing pretty slim here, and I lose this one. Just a note on the button, she is someone who I play with pretty regularly, and she's a solid player, so definitely going to be looking out for her. Did the ones play?
Only in multiples of 5.
Okay.
Technically, I would need one of your tripod ones. I'm sorry.
Those ones aren't on the reel.
Give me those ones.
All right, so here we look down at pocket 8s in the small blind. The under the gun 2 player, the low jack, hijack, and button all limp to me. I reloaded up here to looks like $1,000. I raise it up to $50 here. We're definitely bumping it up. The under the gun 2 player calls, the low jack calls, and the hijack calls, and we are 4-way to the flop. 5, 9, 3, 2 spades. I see bet 45, pretty small here. The low jack calls. We are blocking some of their hands that they can call with, so we are blocking the spade combos. We're blocking hands like 6-8 suited and things like that. So I think because, and I'm also blocking some of their 9 combos with the 8. So I'm blocking 8-9 suited. So I think I can c-bet here for a small amount, and then if I get called, my plan is probably to just shut down on the turn. The low jack calls, and we are heads up to the turn. The turn is the king of spades. I decide to go all in here. Now I'm essentially turning my hand into a bluff here. She has about $125 behind, and I can rep the spades. I can, the king is a scare card, so if she had a hand containing a 9, she might be inclined to fold it. Same thing if she had a 5 or middling pair like pocket 7. So the semi-bluff worked, and we wound up taking it down. All right, here I look down at pocket 10s, under the gun +2. The under the gun +1 player limps in. I raise it up to $25. The low jack calls, the big blind calls, and the under the gun 1 player calls. King, king, 6, 2 clubs. The action checks over to me, and I decide to c-bet $30. I go pretty small sizing here. On paired boards, I usually choose a smaller sizing, especially because we're blocking some of the flush draw combos they can call with. The big blind calls, and the other players fold. The 7 of spades on the turn. The big blind checks, and I decide to check back and slow things down a little bit. 5 of diamonds on the river. The big blind bets $40, so pretty small sizing here, and I end up making the call. And they have pocket jacks, so kind of a cooler situation there. Interestingly played. I don't know. Maybe I could fold. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I should fold that one. Robert Mather, what are you doing? We don't play and drink tequila. I was gonna blur you, Nate, but now you're in.
Don't blur me out.
Cheers. Don't blur you? Cool.
Oh my. Yes.
Tisk, 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 tisk.
I really don't know why I can't lose weight.
All right, here we look down at ace jack off and the cutoff. The hijack limps. I raise it up to $35. Under the gun calls, and we are heads up. King 5-3 2 spades, checks over to me. I go 40, and the under the gun player calls.
40.
Ace of spades on the turn. I decided to check back here. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get 3 streets of value here, and I wanted to just kind of check in the event he's got a flush. We don't block any of the spades, but he ends up checking again, so we're very certain he doesn't have a flush here. So I decide to go $90. I'm trying to get value from some of his King X combos. He calls, and I scoop. So unfortunately, this session didn't quite go my way, but honestly, it happens and you cannot win every session. So you just kind of have to understand that and not expect to win every time. I feel like it could have gone worse. We ran pretty bad, but overall had a fun time at Wind River. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe and make sure to stay tuned for the next video. Have a good night. Bye.